It's our last race day for Split 3 of 2024. It's race day 7 at the Yas Marina circuit. Hi everybody and welcome to the Drone Champions League. I'm Matt Andrews and we're here with these 7 drone racing teams, the best in the world, and their last chance to make it to the Split 3 finals. We'll start off with Cyclone Racing, who are our current leaders. They've brought back Yayu alongside Zion FPV, J-Box and Neon. They're currently undefeated in Split 3, so only Spain Drone Team, SDT, have a chance now to stop that record. They're back with Red Sheep, Danube, their captain Silvio, and Sally 1. Then our Wildcard team of new pilots will have a chance to show what they can do. It's Flo Chelly, West FPV, Chug Akfa, and Bambi completing the lineup, and they're against seemingly their permanent rivals, the China Dragons. This time, Zepita, Creator Gamer, Star23467 and Shady will try and outscore the Wildcards. And I say they're sort of permanent rivals because they seem to always be next to each other in the leaderboard, and they're fighting here over 5th and 6th place. Cyclone would love to be undefeated in Split 3, they were in Split 2. Each of these matchups has 3 races. We start with 2 pilots from each team battling, then the other 2 from each team, and then the DCL Big Heat where they all fly, and the winner of any of those races gets 4 points. It's 3 points for second, 2 points for third, and 1 point if you come in 4th. And we tally the points from those 3 races. The team with the most gets 3 points, it's 1 point for a draw, and nobody wants that 0. Now this is a very important day because it's our last one of the regular season, so after this we'll know who our top 6 teams are and where they stand. And then we'll go to our Split 3 finals in Abu Dhabi. The 5th and 6th place teams will start in our elimination zone. If you lose a race from there, you're eliminated from the tournament. The other 4 teams will be seeded into the main round and essentially have 2 lives. Lose one of those matchups, you drop down to the elimination zone, and that's where you can't afford to lose another. Our track is this monster around the legendary Formula 1 circuit in Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi. After we've spiralled around that pole and split est here, we head towards the turn 12 of the tarmac and the gigantic waffle gate. It's a left-hand climbing ladder, then a hard right 180 and a split est through the top and out through the bottom. Stay down, slalom through the bottom gates, another ladder up through this one, corkscrew over the top and out here. We're not done with you yet. There's a split est into this one. Stay down again, left, right, slalom, then a right-hand ladder, only it's a little bit more awkward, that one. And once you finish that, you fly to the roof of the W Hotel. Round here and through this dive gate, then we have a left-right slalom over the bridge before you turn sharply and dive and attack underneath it. And now we start to scare the people with the expensive yachts, as we're going to fly through this one towards another with a big left-hand turn, and then there are 7 A2RL gates, and they're all in a long curving line across the wonderful Yas Marina. As we head past these yachts, we won't trouble them. We'll turn instead left through the 7th gate and through this very narrow balcony before a hard split-S kind of turn through those gates. It's very hard because you don't see that until it's right upon you. It's a left 180 and then a right 180 into these 4 and then a left to come out of the top of it. Duck through this DCL gate, watch out for the poles, go round the pylons, 3 arches, then we're back over the marina water. We're going to hard attack through here, and now we return to the Formula 1 track around turns 9 and 10. Here's the Foxier section. Go through this gate, then a corkscrew through the right-hand one, over the top and through the left-hand one. This is a corkscrew in the opposite direction, although a lot chunkier, so you can't fly that quite so tightly. We've got another waffle gate here into the top, split S and out through the bottom. Stay down again, as with the previous ones, and then a ladder up and a hard 180 turn to come out of it. Now we've got what's left of a waffle here with a split S through and a 180, and that's comparatively simple. Here's a slalom around the part of the track that no Formula 1 driver wants to find themselves on, but our pilots can go anywhere we want. We go up through this ring for one more split S and then we'll go round again. So into the racing, everybody, for race day 7 and our places in our Split 3 final. Yayu and Zion will take on Red Sheep and Sally 1 for Cyclone Racing against the Spain Drone team. Here's Zion's view as he starts off with other purple and green drones nearby. Red Sheep, very confident, young, wonderful pilot, would love to get his team, STT, into a better position at the end of Split 3 than the 4th place they find themselves currently in. He was leading through some of this. He's currently right in the mix of the battle between Yayu and Zion, whereas his teammate, who is the vastly more experienced Sali1 and a previous world champion with X-Blades Racing, he is 4 seconds behind. So at the moment, STT need to catch them in the hands of young Red Sheep. Through the balcony here, Zion chasing his teammate Yayu, who doesn't make many mistakes. This track, however, as we've seen in recent weeks, has caused some of our most experienced and skilled pilots a few headaches and problems and crashes on the way round. So we won't count any possibilities out until we get to the end. Zion corkscrewing nicely ahead of Yayu, and Red Sheep is right alongside him and just pushes past. There he goes. Now into these 6 gates, and Sali1 is gaining a little bit. He's not quite as far behind as he was. Red Sheep leaves Zion behind, and Zion makes it worse. Crashes hard into that gate of just the 3, and that has sent him quite a bit behind. So it's a little bit of a change on the start of lap number 2. Red Sheep still jostling right near the front. Yayu in that leading position. Sali1 from STT. He's still about 4 seconds behind this battle at the front, and Zion is catching him for that 3rd place. Red Sheep tightly out of the first big waffle, now flying very nicely and cleanly through the second. That's great flying from him, but he's managed to lose 2 or 3 seconds worth of time. A little bit of a bump for him has seen Yayu stretch away. Sali1 now only a few tenths instead of a few seconds behind his teammate, and he's managed to shake off Zion for now. Here's Red Sheep, who sees Yayu just a bit further ahead across the marina water than he was, and he'll go up here as Yayu goes underneath him, having completed that blind turn. Yayu threading that 4th set of waffle gates very nicely, although maybe a little scrape on the way out. He goes a little bit right to then swing on a big left-hand curve through the yacht. Finds a clear route through. Sali1 is up into 2nd, and Zion's up into 3rd as it's gone badly wrong for Red Sheep. A big crash for him has sent him over 10 seconds behind. That's a real shame for the youngster who's been so brilliant for STT. He's got another lap and more to try and do something about catching up, or to look at it another way, Yayu's got another lap and more to not make any mistakes, because that seems to be the thing that happens on this track. Sali1 taking the quick route there, left towards that gate so he could turn through it as he attacks onto the start of lap number 3. He's still got a lot of catching up to do. He's still about 4 seconds behind Yayu. Yayu is threading the 8-gate waffle very nicely, comes up to the 6 now with the split S in and the slalom through the bottom, and Sali1 tries to attack, but the time, if anything, well, it was closing just by a fraction, but he's given away more than he gained. Oh, it was looking dangerous, and it was the sort of obstacle where you can try and claw back a few tenths, and surprisingly, for a while, it looked like he had, but now I think as the race settles down, Sali1 is now finding himself over 5 seconds behind. Red Sheep and Zion, it's not over between them yet. 3rd and 4th that way for the moment, but Zion is all over the back of Red Sheep. Now, Yayu was very close to the edge there. That was a little bit dangerous, and Sali1 has flown very smoothly beforehand, and just a couple of rough edges for Yayu has cost him almost all of his lead. Look now, it's 4 tenths of a second between Sali1 of STT and Yayu, and that gap closing a bit there on that brilliant Foxeer corkscrew by Sali1. He's doing everything he can to try and catch Yayu, follows him through the slalom. A little bit hesitant maybe. Now that gap just 2 tenths. Sali1 clawing it back every chance he's got into the slalom now. There's only this ring and a split S to go. Sali1 heading over, crossing through, but Yayu hangs in there. And look at Sali1 thinking, oh, I could have had him. I could have had him. Red Sheep is super excited, as he so often is, with his 3rd place, which he hung on for. And it's actually a very important 3rd place, as with that, both teams have scored 5 all. Yayu with the share of the points there, getting the 4 points for the win, but his teammate Zion eventually came in 4th place and only scored the 1. It was close at the start of the first lap. 2nd lap, as you can see, we'd split into 2 groups. It moved around a bit more after this, though. Sali1 threading that, oh, so dangerously tightly. It was almost as tight as you could fly it, and instead it just ended up being a little bit too aggressively tight for him. So now we'll see Neon and J-Box as they take on the STTs, Danube and Silvio. 5 points all, so no team really getting an advantage out of that first race. Silvio with the first aggressive turn as they head down towards the ground in front of Neon here. J-Box around there as well. Neon, very nicely done. We haven't seen so much of Neon in Split 3 as in previous seasons. He's in the lead here, and J-Box is into second. Silvio third. Danube just about 1.5 seconds behind, and maybe a little bit more now. So a bit of work for STT to do very early on, as J-Box here sees his teammate in front, and Silvio is possibly going to swing around his vision on the dive down into the tunnel, and he does. And in fact, he takes the lead from J-Box as well. What a move from Silvio. That was absolutely phenomenal. He made the corner before it perfectly, pulled in the dive, shocked both of the Cyclone pilots, and he's still there, the captain of STT, charging to the front. Danube with some catching up to do. He's only a second behind, not the 1.5 or 2 that he was earlier, but Silvio's shown with some brilliant cornering, you can catch J-Box and Neon, so now Danube needs to follow him, and Danube is the previous captain of STT. Silvio's the one who took that place and has done brilliantly in the captain's role, particularly earlier in 2024 when this team have had some of the best races they've ever had. Now this will be interesting. J-Box is going to head left. Silvio goes right with Danube and Neon. So J-Box is on, I think, the quicker line, so long as you can make it through the gate, and the quickest way is to go through it with the tiniest gap and basically attack it side on. That's what J-Box did, but look at that! Absolutely devouring that waffle like he eats 3 of them for breakfast every day, but only the big size ones, as the slightly smaller one afterwards sees him take a bounce on the way. Around the W Hotel, there's a complete absence of STT. They've got utterly tangled in the 2 waffle gates. Danube has gone past Silvio, who started off so well and charged past both of the Cyclone pilots on the route into this ATRL section. This time, a lap later, he is 8 seconds behind them. That is a disaster for the team in green. Now we'll go left, then a right turn, and a left out of that, and Neon's flying that very well too. A little bit more of a right angle turn than J-Box did, but that's also very quick. Nicely done by both of them. They go back to the track. Now through the Fox here section. Neon just a little bit of a correction there, was just heading a little bit low into the second gate. Practically formation flying around the second part of the corkscrews. Let's see how aggressive they both are around this waffle section, and then J-Box leads Neon into the other one, and Neon just rolls out of that a little bit clumsily, but is still on his way towards lap number 3, and J-Box goes left, Neon goes right again. You see, Neon has to do a tighter turn after the entrance into the 3rd lap, whereas J-Box is already on the right path. But it is so difficult to make that gate turn. Oh, there's a bump from J-Box, and Neon goes past him. You saw the sparks as the drone just got clipped into there, and Silvio is still too far behind for the Cyclone pilots to worry. Although it looked a little bit closer there, he's still got all 6 of the second Waffles gates to do. So Neon now is the 3rd time over the harbour, but the first time in the lead. J-Box in second, about 4 tenths behind him, and there's his view of that. And then Silvio and Danube are just too far behind. They gave Cyclone a great battle in splits 1 and 2 at the finals, but sadly they are being shown the way around Yas Marina here. Now wait, J-Box has got to find his way back into that waffle. Good recovery from him. Bad crash, but you have to know exactly which parts you've flown and which parts you have to go back for, and J-Box was immediately tuned back into that. So Neon's got almost 4 seconds of Yas Marina to himself. Nobody doing the formation flying with him around the corkscrews. J-Box, as he goes over the top, might have seen Silvio behind him, because this is an unusual track. There's a lot of opportunities for you to glance behind you as you're turning through these waffle gates and see who might be coming and how near they are. What they will have seen is that the SDG drones are far, far behind and nothing to worry about. Silvio comes in a lot closer than he was throughout a lot of that race. Here comes Danube gaining at the end, but Cyclone far ahead with a 2.7 seconds between the teammates, and then Silvio, too much to do. Neon out in front after that bump from J-Box gave him the lead on lap number 3. Check out this waffle flying from Neon. How good is that? Knows it, got it dialed in, flying with instinct and skill, and absolutely brilliant. Here's J-Box getting caught out on the second set before he does the climb and managed to stay in front of Neon at that stage. Went down hard off of these 4. Went through it, and importantly, realised that he had, which meant he didn't have to go back and fly the entire thing again. He knew he could just carry on. Now the big heat, with all 8 pilots flying. After race number 1, it was a 5-all draw, but now there's a big 4 points difference. Underway we go. Red Sheep just catches the edge there of the concrete next to that block trade gate. Hit the ground, bounced from that, ruined his line into the next gate, and the young pilot for STT has got catching up to do. There's a lot of drones in this waffle. Here they go for the second one. Zion too tight on the slalom turn, the first part of it. That stopped him in his tracks completely. He's now at the back behind Red Sheep. And the other 6 pilots lead out now towards the harbour. It's 3 from Cyclone and 3 from STT. This is the second place. Neon behind Yayu. Might just see J-Box behind him. Might see Silvio to surprise him again, although he ended up so far behind in the race we just watched. We saw how quick Silvio was on lap number 1, and there he is, yes, moving between the Cyclone pilots, getting in their way, giving them something extra to think about. He's up into second. This is absolutely brilliant attacking from Silvio. He chases Neon through the yacht, and there's less than 1/10 of a second between our top 3 pilots. Yayu is jostling around there, along with his teammates J-Box and Neon. Danube squeezing past J-Box after a bit of a crash there has wiped him out for now. Silvio hits the middle of that waffle and his lead is gone. Oh, he's so quick as we've seen, but he is getting caught out on some of these really technical obstacles, tight turns and many different complicated elements one after another. However, better recovery. He and Danube, 3rd and 4th on the start of lap number 2. 2 laps to go. A lot of time still in this very long race. Neon leading out Yayu. We see him here as he's chasing his teammate. Oh, and it's a bit untidy from Yayu. Bit of a save there as he nearly went square on to the side of one of those waffle gates, much like we saw Zion do earlier. Instead, he's still in second, but there's about 2/10 of a second between him and Danube. Silvio has slipped a little bit further back than he was, so the charge currently in Danube's hands. Silvio in 4th. STT's Sally 1 is the pilot in 5th. So 2 purple drones for Cyclone, then 3 STT drones who would all love to pass them, and they need to get at least 4 points more, remember, than Cyclone here. There's Yayu, low to the ground, trying to squeeze past Neon. A little bit more of a direct route as Neon swung across him from left to right and right to left through the Fox ear pairs. Neon, Yayu, Danube, closer than he's been. It's only 1/10 of a second for Danube in the lead now. He pushes, goes a little bit deep on that one, so not in the lead just yet, but you've seen how well he can attack. Neon ahead of Yayu, 2/100ths of a second between them, then about 2/10, and it's Danube still in the fight. Yayu leading Neon. Danube in there as well. The start of lap number 3. Danube trying to split between the 2 Cyclone pilots. Got to keep his nerve. This is some of the best aggressive flying we've seen from Danube. Yayu sees Danube now in front of him. He's into second. Neon's got something to worry about now. Danube chasing him towards the W Hotel and down on the other side of it. Danube going a bit higher. Not so much of a dive, but carrying more speed into the second part of this. That's worked out well for him. He's 7/100ths of a second behind Yayu. Here's his aggressive duck into here like Silvio did earlier on. Oh, that's a correction. A bit of correction from Danube has given Neon a chance to move up in front of him. And now Neon's missed the turn completely. He is out of this battle at the front. Yayu, then Danube, and then Sally 1 as Neon on that balcony turn and the split S after it missed the gate completely. Don't know if he forgot the turn was going to be there or if just got a little bit mistaken on where he was or if anything sent him a bit wide beforehand. But now he's at a 1-point position in 4th, capable of catching Sally 1. I think. Is Danube capable of catching Yayu? It's half a second. There's very little to do here. Danube already higher up as Yayu starts to climb. Danube goes into that ring level with it as I've seen STT pilots do before, but Cyclones hanging on for the win thanks to their pilot Yayu. Look at Danube. Knowing how close he was, Sally 1 kicking himself there too. It is stripes all in the top 6 positions. Lots of great individual battles, but some mistakes spread out through all 3 laps there. Yayu hangs on for that win, another one on his brilliant record. Yeah, these waffle gates so complicated and each one is similar to another one, but also different in other ways. That's the one that cost Silvio the lead. Yayu flies this one nicely, but Danube is quicker and comes out of it ahead of him. Here's Neon on the other side of the harbour. When he shot out of that turn, didn't make the split S underneath at all. He did go back for it and still managed to finish in 3rd. Out front, it's Yayu. Picks up another win, and Cyclone Racing completes Split 3's regular season undefeated again. 6 wins from 6. This one 18-12 over Spain Drone Team.
welcome to Abu Dhabi, the home of the A2RL. After the spectacular launch of the Autonomous Racing League in 2024, A2RL and Aspire are expanding their program to an autonomous drone racing competition. Together with the Drone Champions League, the World Championship of Professional Drone Racing Teams, we will elevate autonomous drone technology to the next level. In 2025, the best teams in the field of autonomous drones will compete in Abu Dhabi. A2RL, Aspire, DCL, where humans and machines unite. Be there in 2025.
Our second matchup, it's the Wildcard team against the China Dragons. We're going to kick this off with Flochelli and Bambi for the Wildcards against Shady and Creator Gamer over in the China Dragons. So 3 laps around Yas Marina again, Bambi getting off to a good start as he tends to do. That's a good start from Flochelli as well, who sometimes is a little bit slower on the reaction out of the blocks, but really in the thick of the battle here, jostling with Bambi. And Bambi's got a little high and then managed to save that very nicely. He's in second at the moment. He's coming out of the waffles and looking a little untidy, but managing to keep hold of that second place. Flochelli has lost a lot of time. As you can see, he's just coming down off of the W Hotel. And where's Shady for the China Dragons? He is far, far behind already. We've got a real battle on for 1 and 2 here. And the other 2 pilots are not looking like it's going to be anywhere near to their hands. Creator Gamer and Bambi, 0.2 of a second between them as they've completed over the harbour and now going into this gate. Creator Gamer completes the 4-gate waffle and moves away, and Bambi still with him by about 0.4 of a second. Here's his view, up through the yacht, nicely done, to the ring. Now down onto the Foxeer gate, can try and take those kind of split S's a little tighter, as can Creator Gamer. There's another 0.2 appearing between these 2 pilots, so just gradually starting to stretch, and Bambi goes in a bit deep on that first gate and a bit deep on that turn as well. And just like that, he's lost 1.5 seconds on Creator Gamer, but we've seen how much this track can suddenly take a bite out of people's leads. So Bambi flying nicely to try and start lap number 2. Gap between him and China Dragons, about 1.5 seconds as Creator Gamer goes into the waffle slightly wider. Bambi maybe just getting a chance for a 10th or a 2 just here and there. That's pretty good from Bambi around that first set of gates, and now into the second waffle. You can see it can be a little bit tighter in places, which is why actually he's dropped a few tenths on Creator Gamer out in front for China Dragons. Flochelli and Shady still really, really far back and not getting any closer, unfortunately. Now, Creator Gamer's been flying for China Dragons for many, many years now. Brilliant pilot who's been with them for so long. Whereas the Wildcard team are pilots that the DCL puts together to have a chance to show what they can do to the professional teams. We've been doing this for many, many years. In real-life races, they were always pilots who were local to the location we were in, such as in Switzerland, or when we raced at the Great Wall of China. Here we've put some pilots together for the entire 2024 season, so they get that maximum chance for experience. Creator Gamer is just a little bit stuck in this waffle gate, and so a wildcard pilot by the name of Bambi is hovering around wanting to take that lead from him, and he's flying well here, but Lucas, Creator Gamer, he recovered out of that pretty well. He's lost maybe a second over Bambi, but no more than that, it seems. And if anything, he might have just managed to stretch that lead back to how it was. Bambi confidently flying here. That's a great turn through the block tray gate and a nice bit of pre-turning into this waffle as well. Just a little bit of fixing on his way round. Not as fluid as we've seen some of the pro pilots do, but that was good work from Bambi, doing what he can to keep up with Creator Gamer and not letting him get away. It's still about 2.5 seconds. Bambi looming here, could take it from Creator Gamer. Certainly, the China Dragons pilot can't afford to make any mistakes. And we've got a bit of a different route here from Bambi. A lot of pilots are going obliquely through that first yacht to try and cut the corner to the water. And Creator Gamer has got a little bit further ahead of Bambi as he was just that little bit slower coming around the yachts. So Bambi with a little bit more to do now. That section through the waffle, all good. That turn, nicely done as well. There's Creator Gamer just being a bit smoother on his last route over the water and down into the Foxeer gates. He's now nearly 4.5 seconds ahead of Bambi, going through the second of the corkscrews. And here's Bambi trying to charge. He knows he got close to Creator Gamer a lap ago at this point, and he's flying that really well. This is solid work from Bambi. Creator Gamer weaving through that slalom for the last time on this 2v2. He's 3 seconds ahead of Bambi at the moment. Creator Gamer on a big final turn. Nicely flown there. Bambi is going to come in 2.7 behind him. And then Flo Celli will be third ahead of the other China Dragons pilot, Shady. Exciting racing, and the Wildcard team giving as good as they get. Creator Gamer with the win, but with Shady down in fourth, they only get 5 points, just like the Wildcard team. Here's Creator Gamer threading through some waffles nicely. This one, on the left-hand turn, you then ladder up to come out the middle. That was well done from him. Another one, though, he goes up and just forgets where to go. Has to go back for that gate. Little moves like that giving Bambi a chance to get closer to him. Still managed to stay out in front, though. Bambi giving a good chase, but not the 4 points for him. Can Chugakva or West get a win here? It's Star 23467 and Zapita flying for the orange team. Zapita is the brilliant young 12-year-old pilot for China Dragons, who was runner-up in the FAI World Finals individual racing. Star 23467, who is attacking and throwing his drone through that waffle, is the former captain of China Dragons who left them, joined another team, and is now back on the Chinese roster. And he's leading this race. He's a second ahead of West, who's about a second ahead of Zapita. And we're coming down towards Yas Marina now. Here's West's view. Nice turn. Good bit of roll there, trying to cut everything, make it a little bit smoother and quicker. A little bit of a correction there between the second and third gate. This A2RL section never ceases to amaze me. It is 7 gates. There's no surprises. There's no really difficult angles or a gate being in the opposite direction to the other 6 to try and catch you out. And yet some pilots are just finding it quite slow at times and having to correct at times to make it from one to the next. Star's doubled his lead over West already. And now going through his second corkscrew. West coming in hot there. Star can't afford to make any mistakes, as we've seen time and time again on this Yas Marina circuit. A little bit untidy there for Wildcard team's West FPV. He swings through the slalom, managing to stay within that 2 seconds of Star, who will see him as he completes that split S and starts on lap number 2. Chugakva is ahead of Zapita. Now Zapita is ahead of Chugakva. They're jostling third and fourth with barely a few hundredths of a second between those two pilots. Out in front, West is the one who's got to try and catch that lead and get the 4 points that comes with it, although at the moment, we're in another 5 points all situation. China Dragons first and fourth, although Zapita just skips out of that into third. Chugakva will try and push him back down again. West really wants to catch Star. He was a little bit further behind. He's now about 2.5 seconds behind, but that's about to get worse. Down into the water after that tight turn out of the yachts. He's now many more seconds behind, just when it looked like he'd strung some parts together and had closed that gap a little at a time. He's now over 8 seconds behind Star 23467 of the China Dragons, through the bars and pylons and not taking it safely and not taking it carefully. And he's got to throw caution to the wind now. Ahead of him, Star, usually ahead of a lot of pilots. He's into the second section of the waffles out of this last part of tarmac. West goes in, split S left to right, ladders up. Left-hand turn is out of there nicely. It's quick flying. It's still a big lead that he's got to cut into, belonging to Star 23467. He weaves down through the split S in the rings, and he's got almost a 10-second lead over West, who's just beginning lap number 3 now. He'll split S through the rings and look like that. Here's the block trade gate. That's a good turn in. Now West ladders up. And while he goes through the first set of waffle gates, Star is out of the second. And up and over the roof of the W Hotel. He's into the slalom of the bridge and coming underneath. West has lost even more time. He's now over 12 seconds behind. Chugakva has dropped a little bit more. Otherwise, he might have been pushing West for second. Zapita still capable of just toppling this a little. It's still 5 points all as it works out right now. But Zapita is still capable of catching Chugakva, getting past him for third and getting that extra point away from the wildcard team if he does so. West surely going to hang on to second here unless he gets absolutely wiped out by one of the obstacles that are remaining. And I don't think there's many that might do that to him. Star, where is he in that Foxeer corkscrew? That wasn't particularly quick. He may have given away a little bit there, but West not ready to take advantage of it. Flying well through that corkscrew on his route, though, and the gap has come down now by about 2 seconds. Chugakva still behind in third. West bumping off there. His gaining on Star is over, and Star is at the finish for China Dragons. West will surely keep second. Does Chugakva manage to hang on ahead of Zapita? We'll find out very soon as there's West in second place. Chugakva is in third, Zapita. Oh, he pushed the wildcard pilot and came in almost exactly 0.6 of a second behind him. So good battling between them. Star keeping it together out in front, and West in between those two groups. Chasing Star, never really endangered by the two pilots who were behind him. There's Star going through this and just pushing past Zapita as he did so. Here's West swinging. Look at that. That was neat until the exit of it was just a little bit untidy. That, though, was where his push for the lead, which was starting to come together for him, it went away. So the DCL Big Heat, all 8 of these pilots, and they are in a 10 points all situation after it being 5-all in the first race and 5-all in the second. China Dragons getting the win in both of them, but also getting the 4th place. And consistency is important, and finishing high up the pack is important. With 8 drones in the air, this could go either way. Star gets completely stuck on the top left of the big waffle. Zapita, his young teammate, is the one who's ahead of him, but now Chugakva is as well. This is very different to the previous race. The pilots who finished the last one in 4th and 3rd are respectively 1st and 2nd right now, but there's a lot of race to go. Chugakva down towards the water, Zapita in front of him, Star behind him this time. Then Bambi just ahead of Creator Gamer as he tried to be throughout his 2v2. He has some real reversals going on here, but what's got to happen now for all of these pilots is good, consistent flying. Don't throw any of this away. Don't do anything crazy. We've seen time and time again today and in previous race days on this circuit that if you can fly this track cleanly, a lot of chaos might still happen around you for everybody else. Zapita sees Star, his teammate, just slip by him by about 1/4 of a second, and Chugakva now in his vision as well as they go through the 6 gates over the tarmac. Chugakva pushing for the lead, trying to take that from Star as we come to the end of lap number 1. And they swing and roll around the slalom and come through the gate. Zapita goes right, the other 2 pilots both went left, which is why Chugakva and Star stay ahead of Zapita, and Chugakva is just desperately trying to nudge inside Star at every opportunity. They're into the waffle, these 3 pilots, nobody else getting there yet. Star just stretching a little bit from Chugakva in that one, and Zapita getting by him as well. Chugakva nearly going too deep into waffle number 2, but flying out of that okay, although the gaps have stretched a little bit at the start of lap number 2. There's about 0.6 of a second between this pilot, Zapita, and the leader, who is Star, and Chugakva, who is challenging so well, has exited the picture for now. He's 5 seconds behind the 2 pilots from China Dragons, where he was in the mixed and in front of them at times. Zapita's down alongside the harbour with Star just a couple of seconds ahead of him. Bambi, West, Chugakva for the wildcard team are the pilots in 3rd and 4th and 5th, but that group 10 seconds behind these 2 drones out in front for China Dragons. Zapita just rolling all over around the Foxeer gates, keeping it in the right direction and flying through them, which is the most important thing, but it was a little reckless and dangerous. But some pilots can fly like that and make it quick. Where is Zapita now? He's lost 2 more seconds on Star. There he is. Just coming to finish his 3rd lap, but it all got a little bit more untidy for him. Just a shake here and there after a turn. Now he'll come and do his split test as Star is already into the waffle on lap number 3. He's about 4, maybe even 5 seconds ahead of Zapita now. And this is very interesting to see what these pilots can do. Between these 2 teams, they are locked in for 5th and 6th place. They can't move out of those positions here on the last race day of Split 3. So they will be going to our Split 3 finals, and they will be racing each other at that final in the elimination battle. And in fact, that's exactly what happened in Split 1 and in Split 2. They finished in 5th and 6th place at the end of those regular seasons, met each other in the elimination zone. China Dragons always knocking Wildcard team out at that stage, and they're going to outscore them here, it seems, unless there's a big problem for Zapita and Star. Chogakva has simply got too much catching up to do for these two pilots here. Zapita now 7.5 seconds behind his teammate. It's not tidy at all. That Foxeer turn into this corkscrew with some wobbles along the way. I've seen Zapita fly beautifully and incredibly bravely and quickly in real life. This virtual track of Yas Marina, he's not at home on this, it seems. Here he is through the slalom without any pushing necessary. Star is home getting the 4 points. It'll be 3 more for Zapita after that split S, and that looked a little bit bumpy too, but he's there. Chogakva and West having a battle between themselves in 3rd and 4th place, and they come home exactly 0.2 of a second between themselves. Ahead of them, Zapita, and ahead of everybody, Star 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Such a good result on his return to the China Dragons. Look at the first waffle on lap number 1. Drones everywhere, some of them stuck, some of them zipping out of it nicely, led at the moment by Zapita, who was so good around there. And Chogakva was right in the battle there and throughout so much of the race until it was all just getting a little bit too far ahead in lap 3. So a good showing from the Wildcard team, but they are beaten here in the big heat. They kept up with China Dragons on points in the first 2 races. It was 5-all and then 5-all, but after the big heat, it ends up being 13 points to 17. China Dragons getting another win over them. Also, Raiden picking up the default win over Mach 1, as Mach 1 have been unable to compete due to injury. Sadly for Mach 1, that means they will finish race day 7 and split 3 down in last place. So the top 6 teams are determined. We know who's coming to the split 3 finals in Abu Dhabi. China Dragons and the DCL Wildcard team will be facing each other again in that elimination zone. The other 4 teams line up like this, with Cyclone and STT 1st and 4th. Raiden and Quad Force 1 are 2nd and 3rd. They'll start off facing each other as well. It's going to be action-packed. It's going to be real-life flying. So join us for the finish of our truly hybrid season. We'll see you on the 12th of December. And as always, in the skies.